Some heartbreak doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes it begins slowly with silence where a voice used to be, and sometimes the person you love the most leaves without warning. And when they return, they are no longer the person you remember. This is the story of Lena Rivers, a devoted wife, and the day her husband came home with a child she never knew existed. Lena Rivers was known in Willow Creek as the woman who always brought extra muffins to church gatherings, who remembered birthdays, who held others when they cried. She worked as a part-time librarian, soft-spoken, thoughtful, gentle. She believed in love more than most, and she believed in her husband, Michael Rivers, with her entire heart. They married young, 22 and invincible, full of hope and promise. They dreamed of a family, a home filled with laughter and tiny footsteps, and evenings spent on the porch watching fireflies dance across the yard. But sometimes life does not break. It erodes. Michael Rivers was steady, quiet, and hardworking. He did carpentry, making tables, cabinets, frames, things built with patience and care. But beneath his calm exterior, there was something Lena didn't see, a restlessness. He loved Lena, but he struggled with himself. Questions about purpose, identity, what it meant to be enough. And though he never said it, he often felt, Lena deserves more than I can give. Still, he stayed. Still, he loved her. Still, they planned. Until the night, everything changed. It was early spring. The wind rattled the windows and rain tapped the roof softly. Michael stood in the doorway, backpack slung over one shoulder. Lena was at the kitchen table, sorting mail, humming softly. When she looked up, his face told her something was wrong. Lena, Michael, where are you going? He swallowed hard. Michael, I need some time. To think, to clear my head. I'll be back. I promise. No explanation. No timeline. No goodbye kiss. He walked out the front door. Lena stood frozen, heart pounding, confusion flooding her chest. She waited for him to turn back. He never did. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Lena left the porch light on every night. She called his phone, no answer. She contacted his friends. They knew nothing. She went to police. They said adults had the right to leave. The town whispered. Maybe he met someone. Maybe he ran away. Maybe she wasn't enough for him. But Lena held on to his last words. I'll be back. She believed him, even when it hurt to breathe. It was a warm summer morning. 3 months to the day since Michael left. Lena was watering the small flower bed in front of the house when she heard footsteps on the gravel. She turned slowly. Michael stood there, thinner, tired, different, and in his arms, a baby, no older than 6 months, sleeping gently against his chest. Lena's breath shattered. Her watering can fell from her hand, spilling water across the dirt. Lena whispering, Michael, what did you do? He didn't speak. His eyes held guilt, exhaustion, fear, and something else, a silent plea. They went inside in silence. Lena sat across from him, hands trembling, heartbeat loud enough to feel in her throat. The child, a tiny girl with soft brown curls, slept peacefully in Michael's arms. Michael, her name is Ella. Lena stared. She didn't speak. She couldn't. Michael looked at the floor. Michael, she's my daughter. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Lena felt her world tilt sideways. Her husband hadn't just disappeared. He had come back with a part of another life. If this story has moved you so far, please subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you never miss powerful real-life stories like this one. The kitchen clock ticked. Michael held the baby. Lena stared at him, her voice quiet, controlled, trembling only at the edges. Lena, tell me everything. Michael didn't look at her. His jaw tightened, his eyes stayed down. Michael, it happened before we were married, before I met you. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Her mother, she passed away, and I was all she had left. Lena closed her eyes. The truth wasn't betrayal of the present. It was betrayal of what was never spoken. A truth hidden is still a wound. Lena's voice barely rose above a whisper. Lena, why didn't you tell me? A tear slid down Michael's cheek. Not dramatic, just real. Michael, because I was afraid you'd leave me before we even began. His voice cracked. Michael, I didn't want my past to destroy my future. Lena pressed a hand to her mouth, holding back a sound no one wants to hear themselves make. Because the pain wasn't just about the child. It was about trust, what she thought they had, and what was never shared. She couldn't stay in that kitchen a second longer. Lena walked outside, fast, breath shaking. The world looked the same, but nothing felt the same. The neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, watering her hydrangeas, looked up. Her eyes widened. Word would spread fast now. Lena forced herself to keep walking. To the river, the place she always went when life hurt. The place where she used to wait for Michael to come home. Now she didn't know what she was waiting for. Willow Creek was small. News traveled like wildfire. By evening, the town already had its story. Michael came home with a baby. She didn't know. Poor Lena. At the grocery store, the bakery, the gas station, the whispers grew. Some were sympathetic. Some were cruel. If he hid that, what else did he lie about? She should leave him. No woman deserves that. But the baby, she's innocent. Everyone had an opinion. No one had the truth. Back home, Michael fed baby Ella with trembling hands. She cooed softly, tiny fingers curling around his thumb. He looked at her, a mix of love, fear, and exhaustion in his eyes. Michael, soft, breaking, I don't know how to do this. I'm trying. Ella blinked up at him, trusting him completely. He wished he trusted himself even half that much. Lena returned home at dusk. The porch light, the one she left on for 3 months, still glowed. Michael stood inside the doorway, baby in his arms. Lena walked past him, her face unreadable. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She didn't collapse. She simply said, Lena, if she is here, then she will be raised with love. But you and I will need time. Michael nodded, relief and heartbreak mixed together. He expected anger. He got something harder, disappointment. That night was quiet, too quiet. Lena slept on the far edge of the bed. Michael slept sitting up in the rocking chair, Ella curled against his chest. The moonlight spilled gently across them. Lena watched him, and for the first time, she realized he wasn't the enemy. Life was, circumstance was, pain was, but that didn't erase the hurt. She turned away, clutching her pillow, letting silent tears fall. The next morning, the house felt unfamiliar. Not because anything was different, but because everything was. Lena walked into the kitchen and saw Ella in a baby carrier on the counter, Michael gently rocking her while scrambling eggs one-handed. There was a softness to the scene, domestic, quiet, but it wasn't the life Lena imagined. She stood in the doorway, hesitating. Michael saw her. He didn't speak first. He just waited. Finally, Lena stepped forward and whispered, Lena, what's her name? Michael looked down at the child. Michael, Ella, her name is Ella. Lena nodded, and she felt something unexpected, the smallest pull of connection, not to Michael, but to Ella, because none of this was her fault. Lena didn't ask. Michael didn't offer. But when Ella fussed, Lena moved on instinct. She reached out her arms, tentative, uncertain. Michael froze. Ella quieted immediately against Lena's chest. There it was, a moment she wasn't prepared for. Love, not romantic love, not forgiven love, just human love. Lena rocked gently, whispering without knowing what words came out. Michael watched her, eyes full, but he said nothing. Silence was the safest language for now. The gossip didn't stop. It only intensified. At the diner where Lena worked part-time, customers stared more than they spoke. A woman at the counter whispered, loud enough to be heard, "Customer, couldn't be me. I'd have thrown him out." Lena paused, coffee pot in hand. Then she turned, calm, steady, poised. "Lena, you don't know what you do. Not until it happens to you." The diner fell silent. Not defensive, not weak, just truthful. A strength she didn't realize she had until that moment. Michael worked hard before, but now he worked differently. He woke early, fed Ella, cleaned the house, fixed things that had been broken for months. He didn't try to win Lena back with apologies or flowers. He tried with consistency, with presence, with silence that wasn't avoidance, but respect. And Lena noticed, even when she didn't want to, especially when she didn't want to. Before we continue, if you're still here, it means this story is touching your heart. So please take just a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you'll never miss when we upload new stories filled with meaning, emotion, and lessons worth remembering. Your support truly helps us continue. Ella had a pediatric appointment scheduled. Michael was going to go alone, but when he picked up the diaper bag, Lena said, "Lena, wait, I'm coming too." He didn't ask why. He just nodded at the clinic. Strangers smiled at the little family. It stung, because it looked like a family long before it felt like one. But when the doctor placed Ella on the scale, the baby reached for Lena, not Michael. And Lena felt something shift inside her. A door she didn't know she had closed opened just a little. That night, after Lena put Ella to sleep, Michael stood in the hallway, almost afraid to speak. "Michael, Lena, I need you to know something." She didn't turn around, but she didn't walk away either. "Michael, I know I should have told you. I know I broke your trust. And I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect things to go back to the way they were. I just want to be the kind of man who deserves the life we have, even if it takes time." Lena closed her eyes. No promises, no absolution, just truth. And truth, spoken honestly, doesn't fix everything, but it begins. After Michael went to bed, Lena sat alone at the kitchen table. She didn't cry because she was broken. She cried because she was healing. Healing isn't clean. Healing is raw, uneven, fragile, and brave. She whispered into the quiet, "Lena, we're gonna be okay, aren't we?" But no answer came. Not yet. Healing takes time. And love, real love, takes choice. Tomorrow would be another day. The story wasn't finished. Not even close. The next morning, the house was quiet. Sunlight streamed to the kitchen window, painting warm golden shapes on the floor. Lena sat at the table, coffee in hand. Michael entered, holding Ella, still half asleep in her soft yellow onesie. Ella reached her hands toward Lena. Instinct again, soft, natural. Lena took her. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Michael just watched, his eyes tired but full of something gentle and humble. Hope. Days passed. Not dramatic days. Not heavy days. Just days. Early morning feedings. Small conversations. Quiet laughter when Ella hiccuped. Washing dishes side by side. Folding tiny clothes. Not everything was healed, but the edges softened. Lena caught herself smiling again. Not because everything was perfect, but because life was beginning to feel possible. It happened at the grocery store. Lena and Michael were shopping together, something they hadn't done in months. Ella sat in the child seat of the cart, kicking her feet happily. Then a voice came from behind. Voice? Well, isn't this sweet? Pretending everything is fine? It was Hannah Taylor, a woman who always had something sharp to say. Lena froze. Michael's jaw clenched. But before he could say anything, Lena stepped forward, calm, grounded. Sure, Lena, we're not pretending. We're working. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. Hannah didn't have a reply. Some truths are too real to argue with. That night, after Ella fell asleep, Lena and Michael sat on the porch. Crickets chirped. A soft breeze moved the wind chimes. For a long time, they said nothing. Then Lena finally spoke. Lena, I never thought love could hurt like this. Michael swallowed hard. Michael, love doesn't hurt. Secrets do. And I'm done with secrets. Lena didn't look at him, but she didn't turn away either. The porch light glowed softly between them. Not reunion, not resolution, but re-entry. A week later, it happened. Lena was playing peek-boo with Ella on the living room floor. Ella burst into a tiny, bubbly laugh. Then Lena laughed. A real laugh. The kind that rises from a place untouched by fear. Michael was in the doorway. He watched without interrupting because he knew this moment wasn't about him. It was about Lena and Ella finding each other. Healing wasn't loud. Healing was gentle. One evening, Michael handed Lena a small envelope, his handwriting on the front. Lena hesitated and opened it. Inside was a letter, handwritten, honest, imperfect, not begging for forgiveness, not making excuses, just telling her the truth she deserved the first time. Everything about Ella, everything about her mother, everything about the pain, the fear, the confusion. And at the end, I want to build a life with you that has no more missing pieces. If you'll stay, I'll spend every day proving it. Lena held the letter to her chest and cried. This time, the tears were soft, not breaking, rebuilding. 3 days passed. Lena didn't make an announcement. She didn't perform forgiveness. She simply walked into the kitchen while Michael was making coffee and placed her hand on his. No words, no promises, just choosing him. Michael turned, eyes shining, overwhelmed, not with victory, but gratitude. Because love is not something you win. It's something you earn again and again. Life does not follow straight lines. Love is not always easy. Trust is not always simple. But forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is strength. Lena didn't stay because she was afraid to leave. She stayed because she was brave enough to rebuild. Michael didn't deserve a second chance. He earned one. And Ella, the child who arrived in the middle of heartbreak, became the bridge between what broke and what healed. Because sometimes family is not perfect. Family is chosen, and chosen again, and chosen again. Every day,